Mhm. What's up, guys? Welcome to the 2025 World Series of Pro Mod post-race press release or press conference. I got some notes to go over with everybody here today. At the end of my these notes and updates, we will take some questions from the media. We've got a great group of media assembled here in our green room. Thank you guys for being a part of this. I really appreciate it. It's important these guys get the support from the media they deserve. We've got over a dozen media outlets represented here in the green room right now. So thank you guys for being a part of this. Of course, in a few minutes, I'll be joined by World Series of Pro Mod 2025 champion Steve King. We'll have Steve available for some questions from any of you guys, and I encourage you guys in the comments. If you have any questions, feel free to share them, and JT will do his best to get them asked. We're also joined by #1 qualifier at the World Series of Pro Mod, the one and only Mark Mickey, who will be available for questions as well. But I want to go through some quick notes and bullets. Attendance at the World Series of Pro Mod in 2025 up 15% over 24. Most viewed drag racing programming in the history of flowracing.com, over 9 million minutes watched. We reset our own record, which we set at the Snowbird Outlaw Nationals, which was 7 million. 25.3 million minutes watched across all 3 DI Winter Series events. Want to give a big shout out to the whole team at flowracing.com for doing an absolutely fantastic job across all the events, all of our Winter Series events, and especially at the World Series of Pro Mod. World Series of Pro Mod 2025 content has generated 6,002,228 video views across YouTube and Facebook in the last 7 days alone, up 50% over 2024. The World Series of Pro Mod represented the biggest fields of Pro Mods ever assembled. We had 83 cars on the property this past weekend. Quickest 32-car Pro Mod field in history, beat our own record, which we established at the Snowbird Outlaw Nationals. 3.637 second bump spot, which was Nitrous Pro Mod racer Tommy Franklin. #1 qualifier was turbocharged Pro Mod driver Mark Mickey with a 3.575. The spread from #1 to number 32 was 62 thousandths of a second. We did not quite beat our quickest field or our closest field ever, which was at the Snowbird Outlaw Nationals, but we were close. 5 different power adders represented in eliminations: nitrous oxide centrifugal supercharger, 75% overdrive screw charger, 92% overdrive screw charger, and twin 88 millimeter turbos. I got a special announcement here with the establishment of the first ever Drag Illustrated Winter Series world records, both of which are held by Mark Mickey. Our ET record is a 3.566 set by Mickey in the first round of eliminations at the U.S. Street Nationals. Our speed record, also set by Mickey, is 223.65 miles per hour, which was set in qualifying during the World Series of Pro Mod. These are our series records as we move forward, and I want to give a huge shout out to Mark Mickey for an absolutely incredible performance across all 3 of these races. I'd also like to take a second here to give some kudos to our track partner at Bradenton Motorsports Park: Vic Alvarez, Wade Rich, Josh Dowda, Sharon Ramlow, Petey. Everybody involved at Bradenton Motorsports Park did a phenomenal job across all 3 events, especially at the World Series of Pro Mod, with a massive crowd on hand and the largest field of Pro Mod cars ever assembled in one location at one time. I also want to take a minute to recognize our incredible sponsors and marketing partners: Jim and Annie Whiteley at J&A Service, Tommy and Anita Cunningham at Stroud Safety, Mark Beatty and the team at Redline Oil, Richard Freeman and everyone at Elite Motorsports, Mark and Maria Mickey and the guys at M&M Transmission, Jeff Stange and the team at Strange Engineering, Michael Tedesco and his awesome group of guys at Fuel Factory, Brandon and Kimmelin Pez at PJS Racing, everyone at Proline Racing Engines, Killing Time Racing, Butner Construction, WS Construction, Culp Lumber, Pilot Racing, Kinetic Engineering, Scott Tidwell Motorsports, Coast Packing, Fuel Tech, P2 Contracting. And I'd also like to say thanks to Jack Sears, the Mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart, Nick Hogan, and the rest of the team at Real American Beer, the official beer of the Drag Illustrated Winter Series and the World Series of Pro Mod. Fantastic job from all those guys supporting us, participating in the promotion of the event, the coverage of the event. It does not go unnoticed. It takes an army to pull these things off, and we're blessed to have an incredible group of people that are supporting our efforts out on the drag strip. Guys, I'm happy to answer any questions that you guys have for me. So we can go ahead and start with questions. JT, we can bring on Steve King, our champion, and our number one qualifier, Mark Mickey, and we'll dive into this thing. You guys doing good?
What's up, guys?
Hey, what's up, champ? Congrats, Steve. I didn't get a chance to tell you.
Thank you, buddy.
Badass.
Still living on the high right now. Still living on the high.
I imagine. Quick story just for a minute. Me and Steve ran each other fourth round of qualifying. We're talking and we're commenting how old we were, basically, and how long we've been around. So me and Steve ran in the finals at NMCA is in 2008, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. So we've been racing a long time, and we were cheering you on. It was badass to see somebody we'd known for a long time win that race, plus a customer on top of that. So
right, I greatly appreciate it, man. It's hard to believe we've been doing it this long.
I know. So
it is amazing, man. So I'll start, guys. And again, JT, anybody in our chat here and our media that have joined us that want to throw out a question, love to bring them on the screen, give them a little moment in the sun. I'll throw the first one out there, Steve, for you. First off, obviously, congratulations. Can you take us through that final round, like what was going through your head as you were getting bolted in the car and headed towards the water box and ultimately pulling in and lighting up those pre-stage and stage lights?
Yeah, man. Back in the staging lanes, I was fairly calm, but we buckle up and you're pulling up there against Stevie Jackson, which is obviously one of the pillars of the whole racing community. And I mean, we've been racing a while, but you race somebody of that stature, and I don't put myself up there. So we roll up to the water, and the music's playing. You got the music up and all the people in the stands with their phones out and the cameras and the people up there. Just the buzz I got a little nervous, to be honest with you. But once that thing lights up, you don't see any of that stuff when you got that big monster sitting out in front of you, and you do the burnout and back up, and then you just, we pull up to the beam, and me and Stevie both took our time, pulling into the beams. We really did. We kind of try to inch them in pretty tight, and I'm not gonna lie, when I come off the button, when I went by the 60-foot cone, Stevie had a bumper out there on me because he tattooed me a little bit there on the tree. I was really had a few curse words coming out of my mouth with the front end in there. I'm not gonna lie, but I knew from the 330 down it was going to be close, and I don't know if I could have pushed the throttle through the fuel tank any farther. Just hoping it was going to get there. And well, I don't know, it was 0.0012 or something at the finish line, and then the screaming in the radio, the high, and then from there it's just a blur.
It was awesome seeing the reaction. Like, one of the things that I often hate that you guys miss is how your teams go bonkers on the starting line. And it was cool. Like, if I had something that really is special to me is seeing that type of reaction pretty much every round. I mean, qualifying, it was like they were up there cheering as if they just won the biggest race on the planet, and it was just qualifying. And that, to me, that's the magic we're looking for. That's the atmosphere we're looking for. Steve, go ahead, Scotty.
Hey guys, Mark, congratulations on your top qualifier. I mean, we can't wait for you to convert that into a victory. And Steve, congratulations on a fantastic performance this weekend. But you've been having one heck of a year, man. That victory at Cecil County Dragway, that Pro Mod Invitational. Now this, man, such a high level of performance. How are you as a team leader going to maintain this performance going forward? Thank you so much, guys, for having me.
Yeah, man, we won that race, and then we went into a little lull, and I didn't drive the car that well after that. I red lighted at a race, and then we ran into some guys that either tattooed us or run low ET of that session, and we had a good car the rest of the year, just didn't have that factor you need to get the wins, and Gene Pilot, at the end of the day, he's like, guys, he never doubted us, but he's like, come on, we got to buckle down here. We got to win some rounds. And we come into the Winter Series, same thing. First two races, we had a good car, really good car, I felt. And we run up against Mark at the second race. He runs, obviously, the record. He goes 56, and we go 60 flat, which I think was fourth fastest of the E1. And hell, what else can you expect there? Mark goes out and does what he does. He's a badass, and he gave me a good ass kicking, and we come back, and John Salemi and those guys go to work and try to find us some more power, and we come back to the Winter Series, and the the chips fell down. You know, sometimes it's your day. Sometimes it's your day. Not that we had a bad car, but some days it's your day. And, you know, we want to ride that momentum throughout the season. This is 2000. You know, we're going to go run PDRA after this, and hopefully winning these 2 races, big money races, will add into winning some races in PDRA. That's what we're hoping.
Mark, I've got one for you here. Can you just kind of walk us through that number 1 qualifying run? I mean, we were kind of all waiting for that moment. You know, we knew you were going to get after it at some point. And actually, I didn't see we got Lee Kraft here. Let's go ahead and turn it over to Monday Morning Racer. I'm sorry.
No worries. Thank you, Wes. And to each and every one of you gentlemen, congratulations on excellence in performance, winning, and promoting. To each and every one of you, the Winter Series, this new championship run in Pro Mod drag racing, where all do you see that it fits in the economy of Pro Mod drag racing, as far as the PDRA, Midwest Drag Racing Series, NHRA? From what I can see, this seems to be the place to get bragging rights for the entire year and the entirety of Pro Mod drag racing. Where do you all feel it falls?
I can go first. I mean, to me personally, looking at it as far as just racing standpoint, it just kind of highlights what we've all been doing, what we've been doing with Midwest Pro Mod all year, what Steve's done in Northeast Outlaw and PDRA. It kind of, in my opinion, accentuates it, shows what all the series are capable of, but it also brings everybody together. So then you can actually see how close we all really are. I mean, you hear, PDRA's got this level of competition, which is some of the best in the world, Midwest Pro Mod, and we just never know because we're all kind of different parts of the country. But man, the Winter Series has brought us together, and it just shows how badass everybody really is right now. So,
yeah, I think so. Every class out there comes down there to that Winter Series, and it's like the top of the mountain because you are running everyone from one side of the country to the others. So, it gives, whether it's PDRA or Midwest or Northeast, it gives those guys bragging rights, to say, hey guys, you all stunk it up down there or whatever, and yeah. I think it brings a level of competition, you know where you stand at against the best in the entire country, just not where you race at.
Yep, exactly.
I would add to that, Lee, excuse me, I'm still recovering from a week of yelling and screaming, but I would say that it takes all of us, and that is really what we've been trying to create here with the Winter Series and specifically the World Series of Pro Mod. That was the goal, is to bring the best and brightest from all these different corners of the drag racing world. You guys have heard me say it a lot. Our sport is much like a high school hallway. There's all these different cliques of guys and gals that hang out together and race together, and very rarely do their paths cross. And what we wanted to create with the Winter Series was an opportunity to bring all those best people and best teams, best cars, best drivers together to one place at one time to see who's who. We've been really, really blessed with incredible support across all those sanctions and series that you mentioned. I mean, the PDRA, a bulk of our racers call PDRA their home. We have a ton of Midwest Drag Racing Series competitors. Also, the recently shut down NMCA, which heartbreaking situation, but I've always held NMCA in extremely high regard, and it was great to have some of their stars, Bob Glenn, David Monday, Tom Blinko. I mean, there's a lot of guys that have called NMCA home. Hell, these two right here, NMCA was home to Mark Mickey for many, many, many years. So anyways, it's great to see all these series and sanctions represented. We had NHRA drivers, give a huge shout out to Antron Brown, Erica Enders, the people that call NHRA their home. I think that's a really significant thing for us. Also, all of our No Prep Kings competitors, the guys that call Street Outlaws and No Prep Kings home, Kai Kelly, Sean Murdernova Ellington, Scott Taylor, Jimmy Taylor, Clay Cole, Robin Richards. Is that Robin Roberts, excuse me. But anyways, tons of No Prep Kings guys that came out and supported this deal. And I was really proud of how well represented everybody was. We want to see more of that develop over the course of time. The PDRA has done a fantastic job of coming down and waving flags and entertaining their racers and whatnot. They did a luncheon for their racers over the course of the weekend that was, open to any PDRA competitor, which I thought was really, really cool. And I'm hoping to see more of that because for those that don't know, a lot of the reason that we do this Drag Illustrated Winter Series in the winter is because we do not want to compete against all of these other fantastic places to race. I grew up in racing. I've been a part of making those tough decisions where you have to choose, there's 2 or 3 races on the same weekend, and you got to choose who you support. I never want to put any of my guys or gals in that position. So we try to stay out of the way by being in the winter. Who knows what the future holds? No doubt. But at this point in time, I'm excited to give an opportunity to all these racers that call these various places we just outlined home, a place to go shine and be a part of a major event that's got thousands of people in the stands and millions of people watching around the world. So, and Lee, kind of closing notes on that, we're at the tip top of that. The baddest sons of bitches on the planet Earth run in the Drag Illustrated Winter Series. I've kind of laid back on some of that commentary. I'm a promoter, right? But I feel we've demonstrated that this is the best of the best. I don't think there is more difficult drag racing happening on the planet Earth than what's going on at Bradenton Motorsports Park in the winter. So these are the best guys in the world. I would take the group of people that didn't qualify for the World Series of Pro Mod and put them up against any racer anywhere on the planet anytime. So these are the best in the world, and I hope they all are walking around with their chest puffed out, because if you're a part of this deal, if you've got that invitation letter, you're a difference maker in our sport, and these are the best in the world, period.
Agreed.
Facts there.
Robert Richards here, man. Go ahead, buddy.
All right, question for both of you guys. First off, congratulations on amazing performances over the whole Winter Series. Big numbers out of Mark and finishing touches on it, Steve. But for both of you guys have been around the pro mod scene for pretty much, not since it started, but for a long time. What is your guys' opinion on the current landscape of it? Where is it at now? Where's it going to be at in 5 years and on then?
Go ahead, Steve.
I'll go. I mean, right now, Pro Mod is as high as it's ever been, I believe. I mean, if you look at what Wes has done and 80 cars there running that close, and the technology just keeps going and going and going, and the level of competition has risen in the last few years, even with what Wes has done down there in Florida, and even across every one of these series. I mean, used to be years ago in certain series here and there, you had your top 10 guys and then everyone else was just there. Now you come to the Winter Series, you don't even know if you're going to qualify. You're bringing good stuff there. You may make a decent run and you be on the outside of the field looking in. And that's, great for the spectator. That's great for us, because now it makes Mark go back and work harder, make, Gene Pilot, John Slimmy, they got to go back and work. You don't just leave your stuff go, or you're going to fall behind.
Yeah, I would kind of add to that. Yeah, one thing I like is what it's done, and what you guys have done, Wes, is actually showcase how badass all these guys really are, and how badass the tuners are. I mean, those guys are behind the scenes, but think of the manpower behind the drivers. Look at Steve's got the whole Salemi family behind him. You got the Gene, us. We've just got a long list of people, but I just think it really brings a lot of legitimacy to what we've done our whole life racing. We're not professional racers, but we race like professionals, I would say, but we just don't get the notoriety. And I think that's what this done, is kind of opened the eyes to a lot of people. Look, you got, Antron Brown, Brian Karate, you got all those guys over there. And those guys, are telling us how badass we are and how they look and watch us. And so, I just think it's really just showcased and what we've all known for a long time, but it's just showing it to the world right now. And I'm pumped. The amount of the money on the business end is just went straight vertical since Snowbirds. For all of us in the business. So I think it's just feeding. Hopefully we can keep this rolling and just keep it feeding upon itself, and to me, it's straight up. We're not looking back. We're not going backwards. We're going straight vertical with this thing right now. So
to kind of carry on that same note, Robert, Spencer Hyde's 3.682 run that put him number 32 in 2023 would have put him 59th this year. The number one qualifier in 2023, Johnny Camp, he went 362 with a 6, is the only driver from 2023 that would have qualified this year.
Insane.
2025 number 32 qualifier Tommy Franklin, 363 with a 7, would have qualified number 2 at the World Series of Pro Mod in 2023. So that is 2025 World Series of Pro Mod was the quickest 32 car field ever by a full 100th of a second. So it's absolutely bananas, the show these guys are putting on, the level of competition. And, talking down, you guys have heard me say this, but I'm not, I'm happy to repeat it. Pro Modified is the universal language of drag racing. This is the only class of drag racing that is successfully contested around the world. We have Pro Mod shows in Australia that get great participation, all throughout the Middle East and Europe. Even Russia, Sweden, throughout Canada. Pro Modified is the best our sport has to offer. These are cars that still look like cars. They're life-size Hot Wheels driven by cowboys and cowgirls. This is the best drag racing has to offer. A lot of people get that twisted and think that I'm like, downplaying these other classes, and I'm not. I'm just saying that Pro Modified is the tip of the spear for us. If you're looking to scale a business, you need inventory. We proved this year that we've got inventory in Pro Modified. We've proven that over the course of the last few years. This is a class of drag racing. We had 83 cars on the property, and that was massively impressive. But what's even more impressive is there's probably another 150 to 200 really good cars in North America alone that could be a part of this. So our goal is to continue to establish our rule set as the predominant rule set, a somewhat unified rule set that exists in drag racing, specifically, obviously for Pro Mod, and get more and more people adopting our rules so that guys are racing this combination elsewhere in the country throughout the season. I think this has been a few years ago. It felt like a pipe dream to get every series in our industry running a similar rule set. And I don't know that we'll ever get everybody, but if we can get them close, a few pounds here, a few pounds there, or a little bit of bloat, but no hard part changes is really what I want to accomplish. I don't want anybody having to make wholesale changes to their programs to come support us or come to support any of these sanctions or series. But where we're at in 5 years is broadcast television, paid to participate. This thing's growing rapidly. I mean, this is, our racers all pay an entry fee. They support this deal, not only with their participation, but with their wallet. And that is, at this point in our life cycle, it's required. It's a mandatory part of this, but I'm not afraid to state that at some point in the future, I want to have a roster of drivers that are, on the Drag Illustrated roster. These are the guys that come to our races, and we're making it worth their while every step of the way. So it's going to take some time, but I think we're 3 to 5 years away from this being, without question, the number one drag racing property in the sport.
I think it's the people's class. I mean, we got the guys that are driving these cars and putting the work in at night. They still driving the rigs, and we got to drive all day and night to get back home to go to work.
Exactly.
I think the people out there see that.
I agree. I mean, I say it all the time, and it's not like disparaging to say, but Pro Modified in my eyes is the highest level of grassroots drag racing. This is the highest level of grassroots / sportsman drag racing. Mark said it. Very few of our people earn their living drag racing. I mean, maybe they do in the industry, but their race car and their race program is not how they pay their bills. So I think that resonates with the masses. These are guys that are relatable, cars that still look like cars. I feel like we're ticking a lot of boxes, and I'm really proud of it. I'll turn it over to you, Hayden.
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me. Congrats, Steve, Mark. You guys killed it. Been following you guys for what seems like forever. With that, I got a question for you, Steve. Your team has been on kill lately. I followed you guys from early on in the PDRA season. Chad, Evan, John, Evan and John have been on a tear on their own. What was that like in those rounds? I know that team dynamic had to have been something in the trailer. So just walk us through that.
I'll be honest with you. Saturday morning, I told you guys, I said, if we can get by this first one, I said, I feel like we have a chance to win this thing. And we're coming from the 30th spot. You go 63-2 and you're concerned you're not even going to get into the show on Friday night. And then, we're in, and we knew we had a good car with the sun out. I mean, with the sun out, I knew I could run with anyone there. And, we get by that first round, and, as we go through the rounds, it just more confidence builds even throughout the team. They was thrashing. Obviously, we was going through some parts, and every round we had that car tore apart. It was unbelievable. I had 6 or 7 guys over there from Salemis and us, and it builds the tension. I almost missed 2 chip draws because I actually grabbed one of the chips with a handful of oil where I had the valve covers off, and rocker arms off the car, and I forgot to wash my hands. I mean, you got to hurry up. But I almost did not make the chip draw, which it just builds so much excitement for everyone. And to be the Mount Rushmore of all races, and every round is like a final round. You have a multi-time champ every round. So it's not like you're, oh, we'll get by this round. We'll get by. I mean, you're racing the best of the best every single round. And it's unbelievable, but gosh, that's what makes it great as far as we're concerned. If you're not running against the best of the best, you don't want to win.
Right. Exactly.
Hey.
Uh-oh.
Hello.
What's going on, guys?
Good, buddy.
Hey.
I think, Wes, you might be muted, buddy. Hey.
Go ahead. There's Gary from That Track channel on YouTube. What's up, buddy? Thanks for being here. What do you got for us, boss?
Oh, hey, sorry about that, guys. How you guys doing? First and foremost, I wanted to say also thank you to Mark and Steve for taking the time, for me being a small content creator, to always take the time to chat with me on our channel. So thank you for that. And Steve, I want to know, now that you've grabbed this massive win, do you feel moving forward into the future events, do you feel like you got a target on your back going up, or does that just fire you up a little bit more?
Oh, we're definitely fired up. I mean, we're hoping to ride this momentum, but obviously every one of these guys is going to try to take your head off at every race. That's how these guys race. It don't matter if we're at PDRA or the World Series or Midwest. When you roll to the starting line against these guys, everybody's looking to chop your head off every time. And you know, we're going to hopefully take this momentum right into the season. You know, this type of win is huge. Confidence for me, confidence for the guys in the shop, confidence for Jeff and all my guys, you know, to go out there, and it brings a lot more spirit in. You know, we was down after the first two races, even though we qualified. It's an achievement to even qualify, right? But we go out and win this race. My guys were down showing up at this race. I mean, first qualifier, Wes, we went 63-2, and Wes, my guys turn around, walk away, and Wes is like, "There's no excitement. What's going on?" And it's like we was expecting more, you know. But that's how we race, and we hope to carry this momentum right on through the season.
I did notice that. I mean, and that's one of the things I love. And not to get us off topic, but I do think that as a community, we are sometimes like desensitized to how insane this is. As someone who grew up in the Midwest drag racing, you know, I remember when I got my first job managing a drag strip, our track record in Pro Modified was a 410 set by Charles Carpenter. And that really wasn't that long ago, 20 years, right? And if you think about how far this has gone, and the fact that every car that made a run was in the 3-second zone, 80 plus cars in the threes. I mean, that level of performance, these guys are such badasses that they are disappointed if the car doesn't go 360 flat or 359. But I had to grab a couple of them, and Steve's talking about, I grabbed Chad, one of Steve's longtime crew guys, pilot racing crew guys, and said, "Hey man, smile, you just went 363 with a 2. Like, I know you want to go, but like, let's recognize this shit is bananas." I mean, it's absolutely insane. I mean, there are guys that have worked their whole lives and spent every dollar they've got that'll never run quicker than 380. You know what I mean? So to see this volume of cars running as good as they do, it's absolutely insane. I don't think Mark knows. I mean, Mark was a part of those, you know, we grew up in the Midwest racing at these small shootouts when a 3-second car was, I mean, second to none. And
we
now
never knew what that was for years.
Yeah, exactly. And now we've got them stacked like firewood.
No way. Yeah. It's crazy. Yeah, it is. You get desensitized. We desensitized to it all.
Yeah.
Because you just see it over and over, and yeah. I mean, just anything 360 is just super fast, just insanely fast.
So. Absolutely bananas. JT, what do you got next for us, buddy? Oh, there we go. Melly, what's going on? Thank you for joining us.
Hi, of course. Thank you for having me. Congrats, guys, on your #1 qualifiers and your big win. So I was just wondering how, be it this is, you know, the off season, even though I'm not sure if that really exists anymore, racing with PDRA and Midwest during the main season time, and how does racing with PDRA Midwest prepare you for the Winter Series? How does the Winter Series prepare you for PDRA in Midwest, be it rule set, making sure your team is in check, everyone's doing their jobs as they should and running like the well-oiled machine they need to be?
Yeah, I mean, I can go first. Well, yeah, anymore there's no off season. Period. Zero off season. But yeah, you know, like for us personally, we're running the Midwest. We did 6-7 races, lots of testing. So, you know, we run on in the Midwest, you know, we run on in the middle of summer, hot, you know, tracks are, you know, not the best just because it's hotter than hell and they do the best they can. So yeah, it normally helps us. We usually feel, you know, daytime makes us pretty good. Obviously we didn't show that this past couple races. We were horrible in the heat. But it's just mainly you just get the routine down, you know, when you're racing and you're humping and you're going between rounds, it gets the routine down, gets the crew used to what they're doing. And then now I don't know what the hell we're going to do, because when you come off this, what we've just went through, these 3 races, I mean, I can't even imagine what it's going to look like in the Midwest or PDRA this year. I think you're going to see the numbers just go crazy in both series, because all the racers we've all stepped up. We've all gotten better. I mean, just in the past, look at the numbers and look at the performances over the 3 race period, what we had. And then I'm just telling you what guys are doing. I mean, like us, we came home, we're in full rebuild mode to get ready. You know, I mean, we've got a month to get the thing. The car's getting totally tore down, going to Blake Housley, getting, you know, us, new front end, new rear end, new, you know, we're working on a new engine program, Pro line. I mean, we're just going crazy. So, you know, and that, it just, but the ability, like this 3 race series for us, you know, our sponsors are stepping up. They're excited. They're wanting to spend money. They're wanting to, you know, come out with new products. You know, us as a business, we're going crazy developing new stuff because it just, the interest, you know, the 80 plus pro mods, you know, and that amount of people, that just gives us a lot more power to do more stuff. So, I mean, I think you're just going to see it go up and up and up. I mean, I don't think people are ready for what we're going to see this summer. So,
yeah. You race against 80 cars with the quality of drivers and stuff. And like you said, no off season. So you roll right into the PDRA. For us, PDRA season, you know, you're bringing your A game from the winter series right into that. And the same way at the end of the season, as far as PDRA, you run against good competition all year. It prepares you, I think, for these type of races to go up there. And even the last 2 races at Wes's deal, you know, I've worked on different visors, different buttons for the trans brake.
Oh, yeah.
I felt like I needed to be 20 on the tree against the type of drivers we have out there right now. I feel like if you're 30 or 40, you know, I got lucky in the final, Steve. I was 50, and God, I'm kicking myself in the ass for that. I've been thinking about that all. That's the type of, it just makes you got to be better. You have to be better and prepare yourself.
I'll just follow up on that with my opinion is, we get a lot of accolades, and I'm very appreciative of all of that, but we can't do what we did this past weekend and throughout the winter without the best racers in the world with world-class equipment. One thing you'll notice, we don't have anybody up there fumbling around. We don't have parts falling off cars. We don't have a bunch of oil downs or crashes. We had some wild rides this weekend, specifically Scott Palmer. Nothing he could do about that situation with the throttle hanging wide open. But my point is that we have a group of guys and gals here that drive these cars, you know, as hard as they can be driven, but they also recognize what we're doing here and they take big responsibility for it. I saw a lot of guys throw in the towel. You know, you don't see guys pedaling the car 65 times in Q1, right? And bouncing it off both walls when there's nothing to accomplish from it, right? Nothing to gain from it. And that is something that means a lot to me. And I think seeing all these teams and drivers compete in this kind of environment with this level of pressure and this amount of eyeballs on them is going to make everything they do moving forward a little easier, right? Because they've been in shark-infested waters. They've had the eyes of the world on them. And I think all these teams, no matter where they were at on that final qualifying order, will be better for the experience that they gained at the World Series of Pro Mod and throughout the DI Winter Series. So
100% agree.
So, 100%.
Gentlemen, this question's for both of you guys. So listen, Steve, I think I know that you've struggled with some minor mechanical issues over the weekend. And Mark, was that a potential for why the performance took so long for you to get to that top qualifier position during qualifying? So as a group, you guys make it look so easy, right? And there's so much going on behind the scenes, minor mechanical issues, maybe yes or no. But how do you keep yourselves and how do you keep the team focused on the future goal and then achieving those goals? Because you guys make it extremely easy. Look so easy. How do you do that?
Go ahead.
Well, you surround yourself with good people. Number one, that's what it takes. You know, team atmosphere. Gene Pilot he preaches that totally. You know, and we had a lot of 10-cent parts break, little stuff, and it cost you runs. The night session, I broke a little part on a tranny. Mark goes 56 or 7, whatever he went. I seem to be beside him every time he rips a big one
Yeah,
off.
I know. I like that. That's
And,
pretty cool.
the guys just come back and we go to work. You know, that's what we know. These cars, you're not going to sit around and drink tea and watch the big screen. You're coming back. You don't have time to be up there watching the other cars. This is a job. I mean, that's one thing that we've turned this deal into. I think Pro Modified is a job, even though it's the working man sport. It is a job. When we're at the racetrack, it is a job, and your guys have got to be ready to go to work because you're going to be swinging some engines. Possibly, the heads are going to be off. We had the heads off a couple times. We put an engine in, a couple tranny stuff, you know. But between Jeff Miller, you know, and my son's a big part of our program. Great big part. He don't like to be in the limelight or anything, but he's a big part of it. But me and Mark both have gotten older. We got Chad out there, you know, some younger legs helps. I'm telling you, that really helps. And then when we really need it, here come Evan Salemi, John Salemi, and that whole group to jump in and power to keep the show moving. And that's what you got to do. I think you got to have the right people in the right places to keep things moving.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I mean, us personally, yeah, you know, it might look easy. It's not. These things are so complicated. These are the hardest cars, some of the hardest in the planet to race. It's just the details, the minor details. You know, we stunk it up first 2 rounds of qualifying. Just basically, we made a bunch of changes to the car for US Street to get the wheelie, to get it, you know, get all the wheelie BS out of it. It worked good there. We thought we could pull it off, and the track was different, wouldn't work. You know, took us 2 runs to just get it beat in our heads. Finally, hey guys, let's get back to what we were. Our car, just to show how sensitive these are, literally from, you know, we were struggling for 2 rounds, couldn't force it down the track. That was a 1/4 inch of rear ride height and an 1/8 inch on the upper bar. That's literally all it was. I moved those 2 back. Boom, we got our hot rod back. You know, went 361. Once we got that, we're like, all right, we got this. Coming up for that Q4 against Steve, you know, we got fortunate. There's a couple things happened, you know, got pushed it off. It got late, and I kind of told the boys, you know, this is probably our shot, because I never count that late night last qualifier. You never know. That's a crapshoot. So I was like, this is our shot. We got it. You know, we were trying to go a 58 flat. You know, we got lucky, went a 57.5. You know, and then kind of good thing we did, because, you know, we came up for that last one against Vic, our buddy Vic. We were the last pair down. We were going to try and really bust his ass, honestly, you know. And the whole party, you know, we had a little 10-cent cotter pin broke on the shift linkage, you know, something stupid. Just thank God it happened then. But yeah, it just shows, I mean, the pressure's on you. Just, I don't know how people understand the pressure that's on you, because, you know, you can't go up, like we weren't in the field, and, you know, we had Q3 coming up in the heat. It's like, we can't lay up. We can't try and go 64 or 5, because we're just gonna be pissed off and we're gonna get bumped out, you know. So you just got to go for it. And like Steve said, you just rely on your crew and your support system. And that's kind of what I finally had to do, is just fall back, and, you know, all of us put our heads together, and just, we managed, you know, and got it pulled out. So
what do you got next for us, JT? Hayden's back.
I'm back. Got one for you, Mark. You have had a car that has been, I mean, you set the world on fire a few times with it, right?
Yep.
Now you've got guys like Victor Alvarez calling you to build the Mark Mickey package.
Yeah.
And coming out swinging first race. What does that mean to you, both from a business standpoint, but also what does that mean, kind of the positive and the negatives for your own program, you know?
Well, you know, I mean, honestly, you know, me and Eric Dillard got together. Me and Eric Dillard, Dustin Hart, a bunch of us got together. We built this car to do what it's doing. This car was to bring the turbo combos back. This car's number one job is to sell M&M transmissions, Proline Hemis, Hart's turbos, you know, Turbo Smart, Weld. I go down the list. RJ, Quartermax. Its job is to do that. So I'm very proud of the fact, guys, we proved the combo. We got guys buying into the combo. Vic gave me free reign. We built that car's built to twin DARs. But then, we brought out Jay Cox, took a nitrous car. We made it haul ass. Mike Bowman, look at Bowman. We put the package in. Then we got Steve Petty behind the keyboard on that, and look what it did. Sean Ellington's car, we're getting our ass kicked a little bit, but it's coming. It's just a little different. But yeah, I'm in a different position. I want to win. I love to race, but my main focus is business. Honestly, the main business is making sure M&M transmission stays up top. My customers are kicking ass. I'd say this. Steve's one of our customers, runs our torque converter. We take more pride in those guys winning than I do in my own personal stuff. And it's just good. It's been kind of cool to see all the hard work we've all put in, and then be able to come out and show how good it is. And hopefully we just keep growing this thing and keep growing the brand and keep our partners going, and just show what we're capable of, honestly. So
Mark is definitely the talk of the world with that thing, for sure. Was out there 22,000 horsepower, whatever the hell that thing makes.
Yeah.
He makes a rip. He's walking around the pits in his flip flops and drinking his tea. I'm not sure what the hell they do to them things over there.
We put a fan on them, kind of cool them off a little bit.
Oh, okay.
That's about it.
But Gary from That Track Channel's back with us. What you got, buddy?
Okay, one more question for you guys. I guess this is for both of you, but just first to lead in with Mark, you told me, I think it was on Saturday or something like that. I was chatting with you, and you told me you've qualified like first place 13 times in a row or something like that at all these events.
Yeah, that was number 13 for us. Yeah.
Yeah, which is absolutely insane. So it's safe to assume nobody wants to draw your name going into round number 1, a chip draw. But what I want to know from you and Steve is who's your nemesis? Who's the one person you don't want to draw number 1 round?
Oof. Me personally, I don't have any particular one. I'm nervous as hell during that chip draw. Literally. I'm always saying, Ken Cartuccio is one of my best friends. So I'm always saying, don't be Ken Q. Don't be Ken Q. That's my guy. But, hell, we drew Kai Kelly first round. Kai's a personal friend, been a great customer forever. We're buddies. He's a badass, and when I drew Kai, I'm like, God damn, anybody but him. We got lucky and it worked out. But I don't know. Right now in that 32, they all scare the hell out of you, honestly. So.
That's true. That chip draw is probably the most nervous part of I don't know if, on the videos, I don't know if you can tell, but even all the drivers, that makes everything interesting, I think, and really brings it out. And as far as drivers, just like you said, I was going to say the same as you. Ken, he's had the hottest car in the Winter Series. Obviously, and he's been driving his ass off, for that deal down there. But throughout the year, for me, it'd be Jason Harris. We've been talking a little smack back and forth on the internet, and he blacking my eyes up a little bit, so I don't like to look at him too much, right? But I got his ass here, so we're eating right now.
Yeah, Jason's one of those badasses too. Yeah, you draw him, you're pissed off. I promise. So,
great question, Gary. Thank you. What else we got, JT?
I think that's it. If you want to go into your questions you had for him.
Okay, no. Well, honestly, that's what we wanted to cover, guys. I appreciate it. I'll take some questions if anybody has them for me in the comments. Steve, hell of a job, man. Absolutely incredible. I love an underdog story coming together like that. It was absolutely fantastic. I don't think we could have asked for much better. You couldn't make this up if we wanted to. Mark, I hope you're as proud of this performance as you should be, man. You've really set the bar for our sport, for pro modified drag racing. I was really proud of having 5 power adders represented in qualifying this year. I really feel like Bob Glenn was close, with the roots combination. So anyways, pretty magical situation. I'm very proud of it, and I'm very proud of you guys, and I appreciate your support and your belief. Everybody, let's give it up for 2 of the baddest men walking the planet right now, Steve King and Mark Mickey. Thank you, boys.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you guys for being here, and to all of our media, thank you. If anybody has anything for me, I can hang out for a few. I want to thank everybody for joining us here today on the World Series of Pro Mod post-race press conference.
Did you have something you said
more informed? I don't have anything specific. I don't have anything specific. Everybody covered everything I was going to ask.
Okay,
so,
awesome.
And I'll answer a few of these in the comments here, JT. So thank you, Steve. Thank you, Mark. I'll talk to you guys soon.
Yes,
See you
sir.
guys.
Everything.
All right,
Thank you, brother. Thanks to all of our media for joining us. Appreciate you guys. If you guys have anything for me, I'll answer it. I see a couple of questions. JT, what do you think about what's everyone's thoughts on Little Gangsters class at World Series of Pro Mod? I absolutely loved it. Huge shout out to Jimmy Dale, Tom Gunner, Michael Poland, Barrett Green, everybody, as well as the 57 Little Gangsters teams that came and supported us this past weekend at the World Series of Pro Mod. I was super. The thing that I like the most about it is how relatable those cars are. If you've got a job, you can probably afford to race Little Gangsters. And I think our sport needs the light shined on these more entry level or budget friendly brands of drag racing. So I was really, 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 really happy to bring them in to be a part of our family down at Bradenton Motorsports Park. So really, really proud of that, excited about it, and excited to see what the future holds for that class. The fact that we had 57 essentially 530 index cars down there, and the crowd and the fanfare, all these guys are young, eager beavers that have YouTube channels. They're content creators. They represent kind of the next wave, in my opinion, of drag racing. And Jimmy Dale's right. It's big Little Gangsters from here on out. Huge congrats to Jimmy Dale on his big win. And we will be talking to more of these guys as the weeks wear on. We just want to make sure that we talk to our Pro Mod champs today. What else do we got? Alan Thompson, what was the controversy about 10-5 Bill Lutz? I've spoke with Bill Lutz at length. I've also talked to his crew chief, Patrick Miller. I stand behind the decisions made by our technical team led by Director of Competition, John Sears. I'm not going to turn this into some big controversy because it's not. The scales are pass-fail. That's how weights work. We also had a full fuel infraction, so I stand behind my tech team. There's a lot of different things going around, and I can tell you that an ongoing investigation is taking place. We're diving into this, but I feel confident in the decisions that my tech team makes, and that's the end of that. What's the best way to cover the series as a media group? From Motorsports Almanac. Broad, I could wax on that one for a while. Honestly, I think I got some advice from Chris Karamessini's 100 years ago when I started Drag Illustrated, and he said to me, son, go to the races. And I think that that's the biggest thing that I can give to any media person out there is go to the races. You've got to be a part of the fabric of this community. You've got to know people on a first name basis. You've got to be a familiar face, and it's expensive and it's hard. I know some of these guys are sleeping in cars and sharing hotel rooms and sharing king beds. And I've done that stuff myself. When I launched Drag Illustrated, I went to every race in my 96 Chevy Lumina, slept in it most of the time. So I know the grind that being a part of the media can be, but I hope they all know, especially you Motorsports Almanac, that these efforts do not go unnoticed. We had over 80 credentialed media members at the World Series of Pro Mod. One of the things I was most proud of is looking down that guard wall and seeing camera after camera after camera after camera after camera. I think it's really incredible, and it's what these guys and gals deserve. It's what this brand of drag racing deserves. I also said this last night just to my wife, chatting about the coverage of the event. I don't think I've ever seen more. I've never seen more high-level video content for a race than what I saw at the World Series of Pro Mod. Almost all these teams have a dedicated media member on their staff now, or a part of their operation. I got a bunch of media people here on the call today that literally cover multiple teams and are working their asses off, running to their trailer or running to wherever they're camped out for the weekend to bust out edits. I saw tons of really high level photography and videography this past week, and I couldn't be more proud of these guys. But my advice to you would be to go to the races as often as you possibly can, shake hands, meet people. And it's cliche, but your network does indeed determine your net worth. You've got to know a lot of people, and that's something. Events like this are especially important. I think there are a handful of them where you can cover a lot of ground. I think of all the DI Winter Series events where you have people from all different walks of the racing life. You can see the stars of PDRA, the stars of NHRA, the stars of No Prep Kings all in one location. When we launched Drag Illustrated 20 years ago, if I wanted to see Frankie Taylor, I'd have to go down to Houston, Texas. If I wanted to see Jason Scruggs, I'd have to go to some outlaw race in Mississippi. If I wanted to see Todd Tutterow, I'd have to go out on the East Coast. There are opportunities now to see all those people at one place at one time. So if you've got a low budget, and which is quite understandable, make sure that you go to the events that draw people from all walks of the life. Go to the World Cup, imports versus domestic, Jason Miller's big production at Maryland. Go to Lights Out, Donald Long's race, obviously at South Georgia Motorsports Park. Go to these major events where you're going to see a lot of people and you can cover a lot of ground in one weekend, save yourself some money and get a lot of work done at one time. JT, what else do we got? Why was JT not running your vet in Little Gangstas, Wes? Solid question, and we did talk about it. But I don't know if JT would have made it to the track in time for first round there on Saturday. So I'm glad we didn't have to explain why my car missed E1.
That's true. I did want to thank people talk about the VIP experience. I wanted to thank everybody that participated in that, including the drivers. We had drivers up there signing autographs. We had some of our sponsors and friends like Mick Snyder, who supplied a lot of coolie cups for everybody. For
Roger Conley from Hearts Turbo, John Gentry from Stroud
American
Safety,
Beer,
the Real American Beer guys.
We had a practice tree shootout, and we had tons of help. Everybody was just jumping in and helping on everything. Barrett Green. Man, it was a great time up there, to be honest with you.
And I want to also address that we did, we were overwhelmed a couple times throughout the weekend, ran out of water or whatever, but we quickly righted those situations. And I'll tell you guys that we will get better as we go. This was only the third time we've done a VIP hospitality type of deal. And as our crowds continue to grow in size, we will continue to grow the efforts that
we figured out. You guys are some very thirsty and very hungry people.
Yes, very thirsty and very hungry were our VIPs. So thank you guys all for coming out. I think we sold out of VIP passes, over 350 of them, I believe, and absolutely fantastic. So thank you guys for that support. What else we got, JT? I'll scroll through here real quick. Happy for you. Are you coming to the West Coast? Not sure about the West Coast immediately. I will tell you, Don O'Neill. I want to give a huge shout out to the entire team at Flow Racing again. These guys do not get the accolades they deserve, and when they kill it, they deserve recognition for killing it. Flow Racing did an absolutely fantastic job, from our boom operator to our drone camera to the guys in the booth. I want to give a huge shout out to all of our announcing team, led by Al Tucci, Steve Logan, of course, Brian Loans and Mike Carpenter calling the action in the booth for the live stream. Fantastic job from all those guys. Couldn't be happier with the way that was presented. It was something that had been kind of on my mind for a long time, is that I wanted to have a separate experience for the live stream viewers. I wanted our in-venue fans to be able to hear the iconic voice of Al Tucci and Steve Logan and feel their energy, but I also wanted to have a very polished presentation for the people watching along on the live stream. So that's why we brought in Brian Loans. We got Mike Carpenter up in the booth, one of my best friends, my brother in arms here at Drag Illustrated. And I was just glad that we have established that that's the way to do it. Is you have a dedicated in-venue experience and you have a dedicated live venue or live stream experience. So anyways, really happy with how that turned out. Don O'Neill and Courtney Enders absolutely crushed it. Tom Bobaltz, everybody at Flow, Casey, everybody down on the starting line, just great group of people that I'm genuinely excited and proud to work with. Don and Courtney held multiple Q&As throughout the course of the weekend in the VIP tent. We're always going to be trying to make that VIP experience better. And it was awesome to see everybody in there having a good time with us. What else do we got, Big Dog? I think that's about it. The juniors. I'm really excited about the juniors being involved. Our junior dragster shootout on Thursday night was fantastic. Being able to run the race while we were throwing our Strange Engineering welcome party. It was worked out just as I wanted it to. Congrats to Bobby Starr for winning that deal. It will forever be a part of the World Series of Pro Mod as we move forward, and I'm always going to run it on Thursday night. I want it to be at a standalone happening. So anyways, guys, thank you all. Excuse me, I'm still trying to slowly get my voice back. But thank you guys all. I say this a lot, and you probably get tired of hearing me say it, but I believe it. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And that's what the Drag Illustrated Winter Series and the World Series of Pro Mod really represents, is a group of people that are swimming in the same direction, that share a common goal, share a common vision for the sport of drag racing. And it will take each and every one of us to put our sport in its rightful place on the top of the heap that is motorsports. I truly believe drag racing is the great American motorsport. It's easy to understand. It happens fast. It's every round is sudden death. There's no more exciting motorsport in the world. NASCAR, Formula One, IndyCar, all those events every weekend, every time they hope they have a race, they're all wishing for one thing. They're hoping, they're praying, they're wishing that a drag race breaks out. That's what they all want. 2 cars side by side coming out of that final turn towards the checkered flag. They're hoping that happens. We make sure it happens every single weekend. So our sport, I really believe, for something that's been around for 100 years, drag racing's literally been around for 100 years at this point in time. And I truly believe we're walking on fertile soil. We are just getting started. There's so much left for our sport to accomplish, but it's going to be important as we move forward, onward and upward, and all these things, and approach the next level and all these things that get thrown around. We've got to stay true to our roots. And drag racing is a sport that was built on the back of rebels and outlaws and badasses and do-it-yourselfers, gearheads and grease monkeys. And we've got to lean into that, not lean away from it. Our sport in the past has oftentimes, in my opinion, tried so hard to be something we're not. Try to be NASCAR, try to be Formula One, try to be IndyCar. The fact is, that's not true to the identity of the drag racing masses. So that's why these events take place at tracks like Bradenton Motorsports Park. There's beautiful venues all over our country, all over the world for that matter. But it's important that, as I say, some bands sound better in a honky-tonk. Drag racing is that band. You want a world-class racing surface, but you also want a place that's got some heart and soul. And Bradenton has that. Vic and I say it all the time. It's a vibe at Bradenton Motorsports Park. And it's important to take these events to the right type of venues. And Bradenton Motorsports Park is definitely that. All right, guys. Well, hey, thank you all so much for joining us at the World Series of Pro Mod post-race press conference. We will see you in the very near future right here on the Drag Illustrated YouTube channel, Facebook pages, etc. You can follow everything we do at dragillustrated.com, at Drag Illustrated on all your favorite social media platforms. And remember, the West Buck Show is live on Wednesday afternoons at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. We'd love to have you, and we appreciate you helping us spread the gospel of drag racing. Thanks, guys.